Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by the Lines and Play Picks, coming to you from Oakland, California. Josh Lander, joined as always by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Another good article up on playpicks.com for you guys. A small slate in the NBA tonight, rare three-gamer this year, Nate. We got a lot to talk about still within those three games. A quick reminder, if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head over to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Check out all the local available listings in your area. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button for us. Jump in the comments. Having a good week so far, Nate. Let's keep it rolling with those lines for the 18th.
Yes, sir. And I've said it before, I love these short slates for DFS contests. It really narrows down your decision-making. And I think you can have a good job playing the variables, maybe getting the best lineup possible. Also, some intriguing betting opportunities as we start here with the Raptors +6 in that rematch at the Bucks. Could still be without Drew Holiday. The Nets are without Kevin Durant. They're +2.5 at the Lakers, who are without Anthony Davis. And the Miami Heat -1 on the second half of a back-to-back at the Kings. So I'll lead it off with the game I'm sure everybody's going to be watching. Very intriguing potential NBA Finals preview, and that is the Nets at the Lakers. You could not find a more obvious example of strength meeting strength, right? And the total has been fluctuating pretty wildly early here. It opened around 238, now down to 234 in some places. I mean, it's just so terrifying taking an under against the Nets, and it's terrifying taking an over with the Lakers motivated. So personally, I'm not willing to touch that unless it moves down far enough that you think you can get some value taking the over. What I am looking at is a Lakers win and different varieties of that. I think when this team is focused, they're very obviously the best team in the NBA. They're the defending champions. They've remained focused even when AD is out. They actually have a better defensive rating, and they're 5-1. And obviously LeBron going to take on more of a load in those instances against the Nets team that gives up the most points per game in the paint, that gives up 122 points on the road, that gave up 62-point paints when they faced Joel Embiid and the Sixers a couple weeks ago. This is a similar matchup against one of the best fourth quarter defenses in the league. And I like LeBron and Montrezl Harrell and even Dennis Schroeder to knife into that paint and really just get some high-efficiency baskets. What I'm looking at is the player performance bonus, which I guess DraftKings just picked up. Very exciting, because that is one of our favorite bets where you get plus odds. You get LeBron 30-plus points in a win. It is plus 235 at DraftKings Sportsbook. That is what I'll be targeting, as well as looking at his individual props for 28.5 points and 37.5 points and assists. You know he's going to turn up against his former son, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, and you know, it's always fun to take player props against the Brooklyn Nets for sure. One more I'll add to that is the Kyle Kuzma prop, 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I like Kuz when AD is out a lot too. I think he picks up his scoring a bit. His numbers do say that he can get over that 23 total with 15 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, averaging a game when AD sits for Kyle Kuzma. So I like him, especially in the last 5 games. He's also been really, really good for that team, coming off the bench. So we'll see how he does without AD, but I'm looking at that prop. The over, the total, as you mentioned, it does scare me a little bit. But if you can find a way to tease that down around 230, I do like that, which I'll probably do and talk about as I talk about that in unison with the Milwaukee Bucks and Toronto Raptors game, Nate. That's one where the over definitely it hit last time that they played a couple of days ago. Very barely, we know. But there was a couple of things that stuck out to me in that game that really lead me to want to take Toronto's large spread once again at plus 6.5. No Drew Holiday, as you keep harping on about with the Bucks, is huge for them. They're not the same team on defense without him, and they really have proven. And this is what I really noticed the last game against the Raptors. They've proven they don't have a third scorer without Drew Holiday on the floor. And really, what the clear Nick Nurse strategy for last game was let Giannis eat. Right, he dropped 37, had 10 boards, 8 assists. Around their 34 points, whatever it was. Either way, he had a huge game. And Chris Middleton only shot the ball 8 times. So 11 points for Chris Middleton. He's an all-star, someone averaging 21, 22 points a game. He can't afford to be scoring 11 points and only pulling the ball 8 times, but he was just hounded by Norman Powell, a combination of him and OG the whole game. So I'm really liking, that scares me with the total once again, to be honest with you, but I'm going to take that spread. And as I mentioned, I'm actually even feeling really good about teasing Toronto up 10 to 10.5 points and getting Brooklyn, LA's total down to 230.5. That still gets me plus 125 on my money at FanDuel. So I'm really liking combining those things tonight on that small slate we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a savvy move for sure. And you mentioned OG in his first game back. That probably has something to do with Chris Middleton not getting off in any way. I like what the Raptors have been doing lately offensively. It did barely go over, but I think that's just because of a weird kind of finish there where it wasn't really close enough to play the free throw game. I think we could see a different finish. I mean, it was a breakneck pace for most of that game. These teams are third and fifth in pace in their last 5 games. The Raptors are giving up 116 and scoring 117 on the road, and they've gone over a 9 at their last 10. So, and a weird fact here, did you know the Bucks are the second worst team in close games this year behind only the Detroit Pistons?
It doesn't shock me totally, right? Like the schematic is out on how to stop the Bucks at the end of the game, right? With Giannis unable to shoot the ball.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm tempted to just say parlay the Raptors with the over, which is plus 245. But if you're going with that logic and the Bucks can't win a close game, why not just try to get the same result and go Raptors win and over plus 440 at FanDuel Sportsbook? It's worth a small bet just because of those crazy odds. And you mentioned teasing a game. I would actually like to tease this total down even more. The Kings hosting the Miami Heat. As we mentioned, on the second half of a back-to-back, they had to go to overtime and lost to the Warriors last night. Gave up another three-point barrage. They're giving up 15 triples per game over their last 4. They've struggled on the road since last year. They're 18 and 29. They have not done well on back-to-backs on the road. And their defensive rating dropping down to 11th over their last 6. This is usually a team that really slows it down, clogs it up, and beat the Kings 105-104 at home, but they're a bit different on the road, right? They're actually much faster in pace in those games, and they give up 112.5 points per game. And as we've been saying all year, the Kings are money on the over at home. They're back to that horrible 123 defensive rating. They've lost 4 straight home games and gone over in 4 of their last 5, giving up 50% shooting from three-point range. So the Heat can easily keep it rolling tonight with their young guns hero, Duncan Robinson, getting loose for triples. And I think this total at 223 is tempting. If you can tease it down to 219, I feel real good about that.
Yeah, honestly, this is going to sound weird, but Sacramento and Miami, I just have a weird history betting on these two teams. They have some weird, wonky games. I never know, to your point about opposing strengths, I never know if this is going to be a muck-it-up Miami-style game or just, fast-flowing and then letting guys like, as you mentioned, the wings on Miami, just let them loose and just let them start pulling. I'm not really sure. It terrifies me either way. It did shock me that Miami let the Warriors come back like that last night. That's not something that I expect to see is sort of, as you mentioned, the barrage of three-pointers. Now, Steph Curry is not a normal human being when it comes to that, so that's not totally fair to put entirely on Miami and Eric Spoelstra's squad. But to be honest with you, man, my main point, as uninteresting as it might sound, is I'm staying the hell away from this game. But if anything, I do like the under because the Heat continue to have games stay under 110, and it's just gross basketball right now.
Fair. But it is a game you're going to want to target for DFS regardless because Corey Joseph is almost the minimum, and he's basically stepping in to that 3-guard lineup with Harrison Barnes out again tonight. Richaun Holmes has been ruled out for the Kings, so Hassan Whiteside is a boom-bust option for you at center. Love Tyler Hero. He's gone way overvalued the last couple games, and his price tag is still fixed. You got to think Jimmy Butler is a little gassed after putting up a triple-double last night and seeds a little bit of that. Dante DiVincenzo has been the primary beneficiary with Drew Holiday out, so he's a solid cash play there. And then, just keep rolling out players against the Nets, right? LeBron pretty much has to be in your lineup. Dennis Schroeder, and then Kyle Kuzma or Montrezl Harrell if you want to differentiate a little bit in that regard.
Yep. A lot to look at tonight, even though there is that small slate. We still got plenty of stars going to be on the floor tonight, Nate. We will be back with another much larger slate tomorrow for Friday. As for tonight, we'll be sticking with you guys. Remember to jump in those comments, like and subscribe. Tell us who you guys
Gift
are
card
betting on.
tomorrow.
And yeah, and we will be back tomorrow to give away a gift card, given that promo out right now. So make sure that you stay tuned tomorrow for what that total prop will be. We'll give you. And as far as tonight goes, y'all, happy betting.